All right, I guess that's it. We are live. Welcome back to another QuarantineCast. It is another technical nightmare here at the home studio. I am not giving Craig the big introduction. I want him to be there when we start because it is the QuarantineCast with Brian and Cody and Craig. And Craig is here. So, yes, we are up and live on Facebook and YouTube. Hello to everyone. Welcome. We are glad you are with us. A big show again tonight. This is very exciting. Not only is Craig here, which is great, but we're going to have Chef Cletus Friedman joining us. Cletus is a friend of the show. He's been on with me for years. He's got a big event coming up that I am happy to be part of. But he said today he wants to talk about anything. So, Craig, anything you ever wanted to talk to a chef or a bon vivant or a man about town, he is ready to go.
I'm thrilled.
Cindy says hi. We'll start with that. Cindy and Bert, hello. Good to see you. Good to see you, Craig, radio host, podcast entrepreneur, weeping Yankees fans. What happened to your Yankees? What happened to the Bombers?
Terrible, horrible things happened to the Yankees. I think that I usually blame it on cheating of some kind, but I think this is just a fake season, Noonan.
Okay.
Well, I said the whole time, once my team was out, the season didn't count. If my team won, the season absolutely had merit. So now the season doesn't matter.
Is that so? You have written off the rest of the baseball
season.
The October big dance. That's basketball. What do they call the World Series?
They call it that. 60
they call it the
games,
World Series?
60 games a regular season, and then I guess they're playing a random amount of games, extra games in the postseason. Still not won 62. So Cole is not in his shape. Everybody's not in the shape they should be in.
Wow. I love it. I love that you are you sour grapes the entire season. Speaking of sour grapes, what do you got there? It doesn't look like Natty Light.
I'm drinking a bottle of wine tonight, Noonan. I don't want to explain why. I'm going full bottle of wine.
A whole bottle of wine. Oh, not even a glass.
Can I get a judge's ruling on this bottle of wine? Actually, not just whatever this is, but
it's some sort of white. Is it a Pinot Noir? Pinot?
Yeah. Oh wait, maybe it's down. Oh, is it up here? Which camera am I using? I got multiple cameras.
Chardonnay. I like a good dry Chardonnay once in a while.
So we're going to the store. I don't want to say which store because I'm going to get in trouble. We're going to the store, and
is it a super secret store, or you just don't want to give them a plug?
How I got this bottle of wine is the secret that I don't want to admit.
All right, yeah, okay.
So we're going through. We're going through the self checkout, and I'm putting stuff on the self checkout, and Betty's bagging it up and putting it in the cart. And this item must have been on that portion of the, someone might have paid for it and forgotten it. So we get home and we're unbagging, and I'm like, what is this bottle of wine? She goes, it was one of the items we bagged. I'm like, this isn't ours, but we drank it. I don't know if we're supposed to return. I mean, what am I supposed to do with this?
Somebody had left it there on the bagging area. You didn't realize it. You just picked up your bags to go home.
We got it all the way home.
And that bottle of wine was there.
We got it all the way home, and as we're undoing the bags, I did not remember buying a thing, and she said it was on the table area, and I didn't want to go back to the store and explain that I accidentally stole for an amount of time the wine that someone else probably paid for. I didn't even steal it from the store necessarily.
No, you didn't steal it. It was an honest mistake. Now you could have run it back, but they don't know who unless somebody has called and said, "Hey, I left a bottle of Chardonnay there." Yeah. And they're like, "Yeah, sure you did." And they could have, they're going to get, if they came back to the store, that store is going to give them their wine. They have the receipt.
Yeah.
So
and honestly, this probably is something people lie about from time to time, I imagine.
Well, I have found the only thing that I've ever found on a checkout lane was a $100 bill.
Okay.
I walked up. This was when we were living in California, and I was at Walmart because first of all, I'm surprised somebody at Walmart is dropping a $100 bill, but that's just me. I do a lot of shopping at Walmart, so I'm not poo-pooing it, but I'm just saying it shocks me as I look around at the rest of the customers and myself that somebody's got a C note just burning a hole in their pocket. So I walk up to the self-checkout. Well, there's nobody had just walked away. There was nobody in sight. And there it is, $100 bill just laying on the floor. And I'm like, oh, hello, Daddy. And again,
is that what you said? Did you actually say hello, Daddy?
I don't know what I said. I probably went into some sort of mild shock.
Yeah.
Because I was so excited. And again, if I had seen someone walk away, if I had seen someone drop it, of course I'm going to say something and give it back. It's just laying there. No one is around. And what am I going to go? Hey, here, person at the service desk, if someone if someone claims this $100 bill, will you give it to them? Yeah, sure I will. Whoop, right in your pocket. You know how that goes.
Right.
Because I'd have done the same thing. So, no, that's the only thing. I don't think you need to feel guilty about it.
Well, and I Googled the price, and depending on the retailer, it's going to go anywhere from $10 to $20. So it's not like someone dropped hundreds on this. This is a $20 at absolute best if you buy it at a bad spot. And I imagine it probably was on sale. That made me feel better about not returning it.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's like an $11.99, $12.99 bottle.
Okay, yeah. And it's all getting drank tonight for a very good reason. That
Good,
I'm not
I don't blame you.
into.
I love putting away a bottle of wine once in a while. We
Do you drink it out of the bottle like I'm doing?
No, because I'm not living on Skid Row with a paper bag and a sterno lamp. But I use a nice chalice. I use a pimp cup.
Sure.
I am. Man, I'm all about it. I roll big. I put my grill in, get my big chalice, and then I start laying down my wrap.
That sounds amazing. Every part of what you just said is a life I want to live with you.
Well, sure, you could come up. You want to come up and live that life? That's fine.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
So Leroy says hello. Hello, Leroy. All our
Leroy.
a lot of friends checking in. Janice is there. We've got some people watching on Instagram or Facebook as well. No. We're on Facebook, watching on YouTube as well.
I was going to say, you've gotten way too technical if you have Insta involved in this now.
I could probably put us on Insta. I could put us on a lot of platforms, but that just means, I don't know. I also realized that, and this is something you and I have to talk about. We probably should have talked about it in the pre-show meeting, which is, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that didn't exist.
It's the pre-show meeting.
Uh-huh.
I've downloaded the audio from these. So people have been asking, hey, sometimes we can't watch on Facebook. Can we just do the audio? Yeah. So we'll talk about that, where we can put up the audio. Okay. So people can do that as well. Big day up here because most of the day was spent procuring this sticker. I don't know if you can read that sticker. It says, I voted. That's right. I am all set. I am done.
I did it too.
Did you vote today?
Not today, earlier this week, or maybe it was late last week. I voted recently.
Now, we'll get into some of the details, and we can ask Cletus about this too when he joins us. But how was your experience? Was it quick? Was it easy? Was it a nightmare?
I'd say it was easy for the most part. I don't think it was, certainly not a nightmare. It was... the only thing that was odd about it is we showed up at a time when it seemed like almost nobody was there, which made both my wife and I fairly happy because we're not doing a lot of going out. And then right as we get ready to start voting, and we had mail-in ballots, so they got to go like in the back room and cancel it somehow. But as they're doing that, it got flooded with people. So all of a sudden at the halfway mark of our voting process, we went from nobody to half the town of Peoria and normal, I guess. So it was weird, but we were committed at that point, so we voted.
Well, we'll take one question at a time. Who was it that asked? Oh, Janice wants to know what we're drinking tonight. We know Craig is drinking a bottle of wine, quite literally a bottle of wine. I, of course, am trying to watch my girlish figure, so I am back. I can't escape New Orleans, Craig. You know that. When I think of girlish figure and myself, I think of New Orleans and sweating in the humidity, and so I am drinking a Paradise Park 100. Which is it is from Urban South Brewing. It is their light beer, 100 calories. I think, a carb and a half or 3 carbs, very few carbs.
That's awesome.
So it's a little deal for me. And I like it because I like the can. I like the pink flamingos. It's right on brand for me. So everything is on brand for me. Except, so today was the first day of early voting in Chicago, and Debbie was revved up. She's like, I'm going to vote. And we had requested mail-in ballots for the three of us. Yep. Debbie, myself, and, my fake persona that's in the bedroom that gets to vote again, too. For Molly. So, but Debbie decided, and I went along with it, I'm going to be quite honest, that she wanted to take the ballots, sounds like you did the same thing, and surrender them and then vote in person. Because you can take your mail-in ballot, and you don't have to mail it. You can go to an early voting site, and they have secured drop boxes. And I saw and confirmed that there was a secured drop box at our early voting place today.
We don't have that.
You must.
No, we don't. No, so we did it we tried to go vote the first. I got my mail-in ballot like a week before Betty did. Okay. And our site's been open for a while now, and it's been open for weeks. And
really?
we tried to go vote right after I got mine because Betty was freaking out. She wasn't going to get one. She's a citizen, passed the test and everything. She deserves to vote. and was like Debbie wanted to.
Hey, just to be clear, nobody here said she wasn't.
No, I know.
It
She's
wasn't
from Mexico.
You came at me like, and I can't do another thing. My wife deserves to vote. Of course, I know she's a citizen.
Brian, leave us alone. No, yeah.
Wow.
So no, I don't know. So she was very
I
excited.
don't know what
to do
station you're listening to,
or what station I was on. It was very fun, I guess, to show up there and have the ballot. But they're like, we don't need that. You can destroy that on your own. And why don't you just come back when both of you get them? Instead of one at a time. So we went back a second time without the ballots, and then they go destroy, I guess, the legitimacy of the ballot in the back. We don't even actually have to have the paper.
Really? See, they took our ballots and wrote void on them and issued us the new ones. And then that was once we got in. I will be honest. All the voting I have done in my entire life combined took less time than it took me to vote today. It took me over 2 hours to vote today.
Wow.
Now, I'm not complaining because this is America. Could I say that votes are trying to be suppressed? I don't know. If you think that way, that it maybe should it take 2 hours for somebody to vote? That was it. That was the second time we went.
Did yours end up in a trash can?
No,
Okay.
I saw it go right in the computer. I saw it say reading the ballot, and then your ballot has been counted. Woo!
Yes.
And I stormed out.
Mhm.
But we went this morning about 11 o'clock to our early voting place, and the line had to be, and I'm not exaggerating, 2 blocks long.
Wow.
So then I was like, well, I have to run back to the car and get my sweatshirt because I'm an old man and it was chilly. And as I'm running back, I see 2 of the ladies who were working inside come out, and they're telling somebody else, yeah, we only have 2 computers and one of them's down. So things aren't working. And
Yeah.
I was like, I said, and Debbie was like trying to squeeze it in during work time. So she was massaging her lunch hour a little bit.
Okay.
And I was like, we can't wait. We'll come back. And somebody said, there's another early voting place at another school about 3 miles away. Let's go there. Now, by this time, I really had to go to the bathroom. But it plays into the story.
No,
It's because I'm an old man and I should have waited and gone later in the day after all my coffee was out of my system.
I've realized an aspect that makes a Brian Noonan story a Brian Noonan story, and you constantly change location. That is part of one of the aspects of what you're right.
There's a lot going on. What am I, a sedentary rock?
Right.
Of course, my stories, I change location.
Well, no, but not just like a normal person. You go to 6 locations to get one objective done. You try to go to 6 different hospitals to get something treated.
Right. That's
you go
true.
to 6 different
I
voting
will not
places.
be deterred. I leave the house with a goal, and I will not be deterred until that goal is met.
Yeah.
So
Keith, it's a bottle of wine, by the way. It's a whole bottle.
A bottle of wine. Yeah. I'll give you the first half of the story, then we'll say hi to Cletus, and then we'll get back to the rest of the story.
All right.
But so we get to this second school, and there's another long line. Not as long as the first one, but long enough. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying to Debbie, you got to get back. It's too late. I said, and I got to go to the bathroom. I can't. All right, fine. We'll go at 4 after. We'll go after work. 4 o'clock. That's
all right.
Fine. So fine. So we go at 4 o'clock. We get there about 4:20. Not to smoke up, not to do some doobage at 4:20. But we get there.
Legal now, however you want.
I know, but I'm not going to be doing edibles and then mistakenly voting for somebody else. If I'm seeing color and one color I see is orange and I go, I like orange. No, that would have been horrific. That's never going to happen. So we get it. It's like we're in line and the line is long, but not as long, but it's not moving because there's a metal door that every once in a while would open and a man would step out and he would allow 6 people to walk in. Then the door would close. Then about 20 minutes later, the door would open again. I'm like, what is going on in there?
And this sounds like a club, like a very selective club.
It might have been, and I didn't have the password. I was dressed poorly and the bouncer was having none of it when I went up and showed him my hoots and said, hey, let me in. It was, no, that's not it. All right, we'll continue the voting story. But I see this man has been sitting so patiently.
That's amazing.
And he's a friend of the show, as I mentioned before. We've talked to him for years. Chef Cletus Friedman is here. He He is the man who is running. Hello, Cletus. He is the man who spearheads, created Cooking Up a Cure, which is a great yearly event. And this year, it is going, as many things are, it is going virtual. So Cletus, welcome. First of all, it is great to see you. We spoke the other night in Milwaukee, but that was just by phone, and I couldn't see your lovely mug.
Here I am.
There you are. Look at that. Now I saw you get up and get a beverage. We enjoy beverages during the quarantine cast. What are you drinking?
I know that. I'm drinking Bell's Best Brown Ale.
Oh, very nice.
That night, I'm from Comstock, Michigan. I'm very excited. It's my first of the season.
The first brown ale of the season?
First brown ale of the season. I thought I'd have it with you. So
well, we appreciate that. Cheers. Cheers. Welcome.
I have been to Bell's in Michigan, and it was a lovely time that probably ended like tonight will after I finished this whole bottle by myself.
I like the method in which you're drinking it, Craig.
It actually releases the tannins a lot if you just go straight from the bottle.
Sure, it aerates.
And you're saving glassware, which is you don't have to clean anything.
Honestly,
I'm very surprised you don't have a elongated straw coming out.
Ooh, one of the crazy straws with the loops. Now, as a food and beverage man, Cletus, as a guy who's made his living not only cooking but creating, how do you look at that? When you say you admire Craig drinking out of a bottle, I know you're lying, but does it come down to, hey, whatever gets you by, or would that taste better out of a red Solo cup for him?
I've seen that we just have our own rules when we're in quarantine, and what we do in our home is certainly up to you. Listen, it could be a bottle of red wine, it could be a bottle of bourbon. It doesn't matter. He's not. I mean, he's wearing his Yankees hat. He's not going to do that in public.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
He doesn't. Listen, he doesn't care that they're.
I think what we've learned is how to adapt, and if adapting means just going straight for drinking from the bottle, then by all means, salute.
Right.
All right. Cheers. Now, before we get into talking about Cooking Up a Cure, since you brought it up, adapting. How have you and your restaurant brethren been adapting? Because this last 7 months has been horrific. And looking ahead, boy, it sure doesn't look like things are going to be getting any better anytime soon for the bar and restaurant industry.
I read today that Jason Vincent over at Giant has put together a food truck. And you're starting to see amazing chefs pivot and adapt to different ways of communicating their passion to people that can't really come out to dinner. Yeah. We've seen Noah Sandoval at Oriole open up a pizza place where Bite Cafe used to be down the alley of an empty bottle, and you just walk down the alley and get some really great pizza. There are chefs like Curtis Duffy who opened up Ever and are saying that we're going to go forward and we're going to do it. So everyone is trying their best to just stay in the game. And I think that's, while it's challenging, it's exciting to see how people are adapting. And it's unfortunate that some people can't or are noticing that here's a time that, okay, well, maybe we haven't been as profitable as we want, and now's a good time to just shut it down and maybe look for other opportunities. And everything in between is just the way it's going to be. I drove through downtown. I drove through the Loop at 4:30 on a Friday 2 months ago, and it was a ghost town.
Yeah,
and, when's that going to ever come back? We don't know. And how's that going to look? And all the restaurants and bars that thrive on that business, it's depressing to see.
It's interesting to say stay in the game, because obviously the exception from go is there's no scenario in which you have something resembling normal conditions. You guys are trying to operate on the bare minimums, it sounds like.
Well, I think what we saw at first was a lot of chefs said, we're going to do our menu to go. And a lot of food just doesn't translate to taking it to go. There was an article in the New York Times that talked about chefs across the country and how they're trying to package their food. And Brian Ahern from Buff House was saying that there's no way to do his sandwich with his gorgeous fries and then you get it to go. That's why I never get French fries to go. You might as well just get mashed potatoes.
Yeah.
There's something about a hot, crispy fry. It's like that French fry mouth, when you're talking and
Yeah.
you want to eat a fry. There's that experience and that crunch that you'll never get at home. So how, as a chef, do you take what you're making and make it great so the experience at home is as similar as it is to when you're in the restaurant?
Well, fries there's almost no way to do fries, right? Because no matter what container you put them in, they're going to be steamed by the time you get them a half a block away.
And it's fried anything. It's like when you get dumplings from a Chinese food restaurant or wings, the trick is to poke holes in the top or just leave it open. Or as a consumer, just don't order fried food delivered. but I've gotten fried chicken before delivered, and there are certain you bend a little bit, saying,
yes.
There are certain concessions you take when you're getting fried food at home.
Listen, the Colonel made an empire with fried chicken to go. So I don't know. He must have figured something out down there in Kentucky.
And I just learned, I might be one of very few people, and I know this because of the television, that they just started doing fries, and they'd never done fries before. Is that true?
That is true. The closest they had, I think, and it's been years since I've had KFC, were the wedges. They would have those potato wedges, which was like a quarter of a potato. Greg, are you a fried chicken man?
Fried.
Right.
Every part of this is so great, though, that you made the disguise. I didn't know they have French fries at KFC. That's a real thing.
It's a real thing. And when I saw this, I said, wait a minute, they've never had French fries at KFC?
Right. They have.
No.
Yeah, they
mashed
had the
potatoes
wedges,
were the
right.
thing.
That's amazing. It's amazing that a place built on fryers never served French fries until 2020.
But they're not alone, by the way. Taco Bell got into the fry game at some point, and their fry is delicious. I will tell you that. The Taco Bell nacho fry, that thing is fantastic, and that was invented by them over the last year, wasn't it?
Wow, I don't even know that.
You don't expect French fries with a taco.
You do not.
No.
But then you love the fact you did it.
Fried chicken.
Right.
Yes.
You don't normally drink wine out of a bottle, but when you do, it's delicious.
Right. So all of a sudden, if we hear a knock on the door in Craig's studio, there's chicken and French fries and tacos in there.
I'm going to do the order here.
Cletus, a lot of your friends commenting. Everybody loves Cletus. They are jumping in saying, Cletus, we love you. That's from Sally and from Karen. Everybody, who doesn't love Cletus Friedman? Everybody.
Well, in fairness, there's a very select few, and that's fine.
Well, listen, as long as they're watching and commenting, we're good. That's fine. It makes it seem like, gives you a little ego boost. I have to, can I compliment you on the beautiful background? You have, this is not your first video call of some sort. That looks lovely.
This is my first video call from my home. That's true. My wife and I just moved into a house, and I'm in my dining room. So,
well, it looks terrific.
Thank you. I'm excited.
Good setup.
The rooster actually hung at City Provisions, painted by Ann Ponce, whose studio was right across the street.
Wow.
The rooster has seen if that rooster could talk.
And now that rooster will oversee your dining for years to come.
Thor's hammer was purchased at the Chicago Costume in Chicago. That's Thor's hammer.
Oh, I didn't even.
But you're the only one that can really wield it, right? Nobody.
Yeah, I think so. Me and Captain America. It's only the two.
My daughter and I were talking about that because maybe I missed something. But was there an explanation? And don't tell me it was in the comics. But my daughter and I watched the entire Marvel catalog in chronological order, not the way it was released, but the way the story is told. Yeah. And it's pretty fantastic, the foresight that these, I don't want to use the word nerds, had. But I don't remember how did Captain America get that power to lift the hammer?
I'm very happy that you asked the question, and I know you said the answer is not to be in the comics, but if you go to page 137 of the... No, I'm kidding. It happens a lot of times. He's worthy. He actually, and they supposedly teased it in the Joss Whedon movie.
Yeah, there's always been that the conceit that no one could lift a hammer unless they were worthy. They didn't have to have superpowers. They just had to be worthy character-wise and be the kind of person that was God-like in some way.
Cap
and
has
that's
done it a
why
bunch in the
Captain
comics.
America was able to pick that up.
Yes, he is.
I have to recommend watching the universe in order, because you really start to realize how great the brothers that directed Civil War and Endgame, how incredibly, as an action movie, just how incredible those action sequences are. It was so you watch Iron Man and it's great, and then you watch Iron Man 2, then you watch Hulk, and then you get to Civil War, and it's just leaps and bounds better. Just nonstop action, the car chase scenes. I'm a huge action movie geek. So
did you like the Winter Soldier?
I did like the Winter Soldier.
I was just going to say those car chases and those sequences, especially with the truck turned over and that part.
That is the first of the movies made by the Russo brothers. So that's the first time they got Marvel.
Then that's what it was. It wasn't Civil War. It was Winter Soldier. That was just like, whoa, wow. That's a totally different level that they're playing on.
I'm glad this is now a Marvel movie discussion for the rest of the show, right?
No, listen, I love it because I'll be honest. I'm older than both you guys, and I grew up reading Marvel comics. And I, as a child, always used to dream of a day when I'd be able to see them in a movie.
And people thought they were cool.
Oh,
It's funny. My father was a collector, and he collected antique toys, and he collected comic books. Ooh. And the comic books he had were in sleeves on display.
Oh, God.
I could never read them. I could never read them because they were just worth so much that I never read comics. I was constantly surrounded by comic books, constantly surrounded by these toys that were on display everywhere. But you couldn't play with them because they were pieces.
Right.
They were
Pieces of
toys.
art.
Yeah. So that's while I was aware of all the comic book heroes and the comic book stories, I never got into it.
Can we keep going down this road for just a second, and then we'll probably get back to like food and stuff?
I'm wearing a Spider-Man shirt. Yeah, I don't mind talking about. I really don't mind talking about it for a couple minutes.
He just mentioned that his dad collected these action figure things that aren't really toys. You guys know what the pop figurines are? The Funko Pop.
Yeah, I've got a Captain America one right up there.
I love them. Every time I get one, my wife doesn't understand them. She's like, "Is that a toy? Are you going to play with it?" I'm like, "No, this is a collector's item, and one day we're going to be rich."
So on that note, I'm going to totally admit to you that in our garage, not only do I have a bunch of Star Wars figurines in boxes, but I have the Spice Girls collection. All the Spice Girls in the box, it's like this big with Ginger and everybody. I also have Britney Spears from the Hit Me Baby One More Time. And the Oops, I Did It Again in a box. Who wants to buy it? They're for sale right now on the site.
I was going to say, aren't you worried now by saying that someone will track down? They're going to go to every house in America, look for a rooster in the dining room, and then break into the garage and steal these treasures?
I will start the bidding at $20.
Okay.
It's amazing.
I also have all 9 Star Wars posters, original.
Really? Now, I'm guessing, like your dad's comic books, those probably held their value and were able to be, if you sold them, were able to be sold for money. Most of the things that we keep that we think are going to be worth money someday, they aren't worth any money. So you might as well get some enjoyment out of them, you know?
That's very true. So I'll be right back. I'm going to go play with the...
If you don't bring in those Spice Girls action figures right now and put them under the rooster, I don't know if we could continue this conversation.
Can we
I almost said I'm going to play with Britney Spears, and that just wasn't going to sound right.
In the garage,
if you brought in a life-size Britney Spears doll, and it would be like, Cletus, what's going on over at that place?
Yeah, I wouldn't be living with my wife.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be living with anybody.
Maybe he is living with his wife. Maybe it's Britney this whole time.
I'd still be in my mother's basement.
There you go. You mentioned Star Wars, and I do this every time, and I don't know if it goes well, but I do it every time. Did you like the 8th movie?
I enjoyed every one of them, and I think that I like them because I pay attention to the story. Okay. Like you take Jar Jar and all that crap that was around it. When it comes down to it, the story of good versus evil, the story of a father and a son, and that whole battle, it reigns true throughout the whole series. And when the new Jedi was introduced, I mean, I love everything about it, and I did like 8 And
okay, I did too. It's my new question. I'm going to ask every guest, Noonan, that you have on.
That's
Do you
fine.
like the 8th Star Wars movie? If not, watch it after the interview.
And which one is that? The 8th one? Which one?
The 8th one is the one that's
It's
Rain
the
Johnson. It's
Rise
the one
of
in which,
Skywalker, right?
yeah, it's the Rise of Skywalker. The one in
okay.
which they sort of tease the concept that it's not just Skywalkers who have force powers, but everybody can be kind of a superhero. And I like that one, and Star Wars nerds do not.
Kalidas, just to clarify, your lovely wife is saying she is willing to open the garage door for anybody who wants to just come and take out the collectibles. So if you happen to be driving around and you see a garage door open and Ginger Spice sitting on a table, just wander in.
Leave a 20.
Yeah, leave it 20.
You name a good place to auction these things off, and I will, and I'll put all the money towards cooking up a cure. How about that?
My wife has been selling things. We've been helping my mom clean out her house, and my wife has been on so many different websites and Facebook groups selling dolls or this or that. It's a nightmare.
It's too much. It's too much. I don't have it. It's like a job, and I don't have the energy to put towards that. And I could easily open my garage door, but that's not going to attract the people that want this stuff.
No, it's a very specific market. But you're right. You'd have to open your own curiosity shop and have people just come in and and browse for days and looky-loos, and you don't want to deal with them.
So I caught the collecting bug from my father. Like I said, my father was a collector, and he would sell his toys at antique toy shows around the country. And I would go with him.
Wow.
And collectors are the biggest freaks in the world because someone wants, they like my father had these Fred, Barney, and Dino Hoppies. He collected these tin toys.
Yeah.
And, people would be seeking stuff out. So he had a Fred, he had a Barney, and a Dino. Well, this guy had Fred and Barney, and he just wanted the Dino. So the Dino was priced high because it was so rare, but we would only sell the lot, right?
Right.
The collection. So
yeah, you can't break that up.
But there are people there's somebody out there that wants this Britney Spears doll, and while it's probably a 50-something-year-old man, that's very creepy, but still there's somebody out there that wants it. And I don't know why, but I have it, and that makes me
and you're not letting it go for cheap.
Right.
It's going to be $9.99.
Oh, we've been trying to sell some American Girl dolls that my mom had in a tub, and people are like, "Will you just sell the outfit?" And no, what are we going to do with the naked American Girl doll laying around the house? No, you got to buy the whole thing.
Are they in a bathtub or just in a tub?
Just like a plastic tub that she'd get them, and they were just in there or somewhere in bog. I don't know. My mom is one step away from being a hoarder, but now she's very excited.
You got a job ahead of you.
Oh well, we've been doing it with her, so she's been doing. Let's segue a little bit because you've been talking about your dad, and your dad is the reason for cooking up a cure. Give us a little history about why you started this, but the disease scleroderma is why you do cooking up a cure. And I know in the past on the radio we've talked about it, you've told it, but there's still a lot of people who aren't quite sure what scleroderma is. And so why don't you tell us what that is?
So in 1991, my father sat me down and told me that he was diagnosed with this disease called scleroderma. And essentially what it is, it's most prevalent in women between the ages of 30 and 50. It's an autoimmune disease, and it attacks the skin. So it's defined as hard skin, and it's your hands get real tight, something called Raynaud's syndrome. But scleroderma pretty much attacks the skin. My father had it in his lung, and over the course of that next year, his lung shrank. Eventually, he went on oxygen, and it got to the point where, again, 28 years ago, there was nothing out there except experimental drugs. And I'll never forget at the time, the doctors had recommended this one treatment, and they said, well, it could cure you, it could kill you, we don't know. He died in 92. He was 51 years old. And when I throughout the years learned more and more about scleroderma, And when I opened City Provisions, I went to the Scleroderma Foundation, the Chicago chapter, and I said, I want to do a fundraiser. And I want to do something that involves food and drinks and get people together to raise awareness, raise money. So here we are 12 years later. And every year it's a fantastic event. We have the greatest chefs, the greatest beer, spirits, wine, music. Everybody converges for this night. And really, we've had the best partners. We got a couple hundred people. Last year we did it at the new venue, City Hall. We've done it at Salvage One. We've done it at Greenhouse Loft. We've done it at Galleria Marchetti. And we were just kicking into doing it at City Hall. And when COVID hit, it was a matter of, well, we got to keep fundraising. We got to figure this out. And it was really, really hard. It was heartbreaking to think that now, while all of our friends are, grappled with this, with COVID, and are they going to be open? Back in March,
right.
when we were trying to plan this, nobody knew if they were going to be open in September, October. So it took a while to ask, and it came down to, you know what? I'm going to take a page from Jerry Lewis, and I'm going to put together a telethon. And
nice.
with all the virtual stuff going on these days, what better way to do it online? So the ask for our chefs and our beverage partners, it just became about, hey, can you give us a 10-minute time where we can talk about food? You can do a cooking demo, you can do a beer tasting, a wine tasting. And it wasn't, can you give us food for 200 people? It seemed like this year it was an easier ask. And that ask is more of, hey, can you give us some time? And even in the online auction that we're doing, it's just about people supporting the cause and being there for us and really helping out. And we have virtual beer tastings. We have Rick Bayless just donated his voice for someone to bid on, so he could do a outgoing voice message on someone's phone. But we have, Lynn Jordan's doing one of her Divagrams. Stone Brewing's doing a beer tasting. We have all these cool things that don't really require large commitments, and it's not really a big ask. But the people that have kept involved with the Cooking Up a Cure, is just tremendous to see the support. It's been really great. And I'm really excited. We have a fantastic show planned. It's going to be next Wednesday, the 21st at 7 o'clock Chicago time, which is Central Time.
Yep.
And it's a 2-hour show. We have a whole group of people. If you go to cookingupacurechicago.com, you can see the list of participants. You can buy a ticket for only $25. You can just donate if you want to just open up your bank account and dump it into Cooking Up a Cure.
That would be very helpful. We like that. Those kind of people are good.
And the online auction will be around for the show, and then we're going to keep it up for a week following the show.
Very nice. So when the chefs come on, will they be making something while they're on? Because everybody, since you mentioned there's so many people, everybody's doing like a 10-minute little chunk, and you're hosting, and you're going to have some people along with you. I'm very happy to be talking beer as in a little segment, so that will be fun with a brewer. I forget who I'll be talking with.
Yeah, we'll be talking with Greg Cook from Stone Brewing.
Oh yes, all right, that'll be very good. So we'll be talking. But are they going to come on, and will there be access to the recipes, or are they going to show or their restaurant recipe? How will the people be able to follow up with these great people that they see?
So we have two chefs. We have the first chef segment is Tom Van Lente and Christine Subito. I've given them 3 ingredients, their cooking dishes. We're going to have an online poll, and then they'll publish their recipes afterwards.
Okay.
We have Marianne Sundquist out in Santa Fe, and we have Tom and Lori Levitt with White Oak Gourmet here in Chicago. They both do home delivery type things. So they're they're using the same ingredients and doing something. They're going to have their recipes online. We have the chefs from Dynamic. We have Jeremy Tannehill, Joe Rizzo. We have Ken and Andrew We're going to play a little game. Just
Nice.
They're all going to tell stories, and you're going to have to guess who's lying. Just about kitchen nightmares. We're wrapping in Barry Sorkin from Smoked Barbecue and Lamar Moore from Everywhere, and Peter Sagal's gonna join me in that segment, and we're gonna talk to them about regional barbecue.
Oh, nice.
Michael Kilmer from Fused Spirits is going to be making a cocktail. Rick Cogan is going to be with me on that segment. So we got the cocktail going to Rick. So Rick and I and Michael are going to talk about bourbon for a little while.
Oh boy, that sounds good. And it's while it had to be worrisome and a little bit sad that you weren't going to be able to do it traditionally in one big place, the fact that doing it virtually, you could now open it up all over, had to be a little bit exciting.
It's super exciting because we have Martha Barra out in Mendocino County. She'll be doing a wine tasting.
Oh, nice.
We have people from all over the country now, but we have the Bottle Tops in Lincoln, Nebraska, doing music, but we're also able to reach a national, if not international audience with this, and get all the people that can never come to Cooking Up a Cure to be a part of Cooking Up a Cure. So that's really exciting. That's one really good thing that's come out of this, is the reach that we have and the way we can bring people in, just right here, just sitting in front of their computer watching the show. So
do you think, now obviously the goal is to go back to quote unquote normal and have a big thing again. If this is very successful, would you consider doing a couple of virtual things a year as opposed to one big in-person thing a year?
I feel like there could be a hybrid next year if everything, when everything does work out and we can gather again. I think making a hybrid version of what we're doing and broadcasting it. I've been watching a lot of Jerry Lewis MS telethons online just so I could learn about what they did, and granted, they raised a whole lot of money and they got a lot of people involved.
Well, they were going for a couple of days, Cletus. You're going for 2 hours.
2 hours. But if even this turned into a 4-hour event, we have David Burke doing a pre-recorded segment. We have Leanne Wong. So we have a lot of participants that we can plug in. So maybe there's a way that we could broadcast what we're doing that's live, and really spread the love around the venue and interview chefs as we're going along, and still bring people in from around the country. I think there's a way to really bring it all together. Yeah,
and make it one big thing. Cooking Up a Cure is next Wednesday, the 21st of October, 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time. The address to get tickets is right there at the bottom of your screen, cookingupacurechicago.com, $20. It is going to be a lot of fun. So it's a great cause. You've done incredibly well over the 12 years, raising money. And as you said, mostly raising awareness, because this was a disease that I bet back when your dad had it, you could talk to 10 people, and if one knew what it was, that'd be amazing.
One of the biggest rewards, Brian, is that the amount of partners that we've had over the course of the past 12 years, the high-profile chefs and beverage people, having them become aware of it, and then them spreading the word through their networks, just knowing what it is a first step. Because it's interesting that there's a lot of misdiagnosing going on out there, because not a lot of people know what it is. So rheumatologists, dermatologists, the more they know about this disease, the more it's going to trigger, oh, that's scleroderma. I know that these the symptoms you're showing are of scleroderma, and not, when my father had it, they didn't know what it was for months. Now it's, oh, I know what that is.
And you said it predominantly affects women, right? Is it in their 30s?
30s to 50s, yeah.
Okay, and they still don't know what causes it, or what,
They don't know if it's hereditary. There's still a lot of questions. So all this money goes to research and to the foundation. So our goal this year is to raise $50,000.
All right. Well, listen, people are buying $20 tickets. That's good. The Great Silent Auction, that's a good way to raise money. And I like your idea about the people who just want to give a nice donation. Open your wallet, help out, send a little cash toward cooking up a cure, and help them get to 50. 50 is nice. Let's do the 50. And then as the week goes on and the silent auction is open, we throw another 50 on. That's true. We'll do the best we can. This is because if nothing else, we need some time away from all the bullshit that's going on in the world. This is a way to have fun and help.
You got it right, Brian. I mean, this is just 2 hours of entertainment. We're going to have a good time. The outside world won't exist. It's just going to be about us drinking, eating, and really having fun for a good cause. And ultimately, that's what our life should be about anyway. Right?
It's got to
focus on what's real, because when I was 21 when my father died, and I'll be 50 this year, and knowing that he died at 51, it makes me very cognizant about how much time we really have on this earth. So while we're here, let's eat the best food, drink the best booze, and just have the best time we can. Life's too short for mediocrity. So
I like that. Life's too short for mediocrity. Cooking Up a Cure, CookingUpACureChicago.com. It's right there on the screen. Go get your ticket. It'll be fun. Let's bring Craig back in because he was having some computer issues.
I was.
But now, since we're all home, and this has to be, as a chef, it has to be kind of heartwarming, but also hilarious to you to see that now during quarantine, everybody has become a chef. Everybody was a baker, and then they were a chef, and now they're mixologists, and everybody's doing it at home, which is terrific. Is there a craze that you've noticed during the pandemic that's kind of made you even crazier than we all are?
At first, it was the baking thing. The fact that there was a shortage on yeast and people couldn't find flour was just unbelievable. And these people start cooking gluten-free, and you won't need any of that stuff, right? Nobody was dipping into almond flour and tapioca flour and cassava flour. So there was a missed opportunity for someone out there. But it's great to see all these people. I'd much rather see my Facebook feed flooded with people's whatever you want to say about them, dishes that they're making at home, versus all the other bullshit that's out there. Let's face it. I'd rather see how people are murdering chicken, and not murdering chicken, but
Well, they gotta get killed one way or another, Cletus. Yeah, they don't arrive on your plate live.
They can't.
Very true.
Can I ask a judge's ruling on what is cooking? We're going to get very philosophical for a second. I on the radio show that I was doing for a while, cooked a meal for my wife live on the air. I thought it was a funny bit. What I cooked was a frozen pizza, but I contend that's cooking because I couldn't eat it until I did some stuff, and then it was available for food. A lot of the listeners said I did not cook it, that's not cooking, that was heating a thing.
I would disagree. I think that's cooking.
Cool. Very cool.
It's cooking. If your skill set is limited and you are taking something that's not cooked and you're putting it in an oven and it comes out and it's cooked, then the verb is to cook.
Right.
So you are cooking.
Could I even say that I prepared dinner?
No.
Okay.
Well.
All right.
What if he put something extra on the frozen pizza?
I didn't. I could have.
A certain kind of cheese or some garlic or some Italian seasoning. Is he then preparing the pizza?
Some crushed red pepper. You didn't do that?
I'm not. No. I gave her Valentina. I gave her Valentina sauce, some hot sauce. So.
You know what? That's a great sauce. My wife loves that sauce. Now, what pizza was it?
I don't want to talk about that. It wasn't the fanciest of pizzas. Well, it was a California Pizza Kitchen, but the specific one is one I'm not usually a fan of.
Some people would call that an artisan frozen pizza.
Yes, exactly.
Some people would.
Tombstone, or home run.
It was right. Company. I have Jack's Pizza upstairs too, but Betty turns her nose up to those.
That's you got to be. I got to be like a case in to go with the Jack's.
I think cooking is it's coming from in here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't matter what you're putting in an oven. If you feel the love, I'm loving this wine drinking.
And I was like, boy, you are going a long way, Cletus,
and the
to
Oreos.
make Craig feel good about himself.
I got a bottle of Willet back here. I should just grab this bottle of Willet and start.
Well, I'm now pairing it with Oreos and milk.
Because you opened the bottle and poured it. That I don't know if that makes anybody a mixologist.
Well, no, I am though, and I'm pairing items together too, so that's very important.
Wait, you're dunking Oreos and drinking out of a bottle of wine?
Well, this is milk. You can't eat an Oreo without milk, Noonan.
You can drink it without Chardonnay.
Cookies and red wine. Is that red wine?
It's white. It's white wine. I'm pairing a dessert item with my drinking tonight. I've had a day. I'm not going to talk about it, but I've had a day.
Say, red wine and milk and cookies? No, but white wine and milk and cookies?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
Well, there. Now, I was going to ask for your ruling on that, Cletus. So when people are starting, because this is people are afraid to go out. They're doing more cooking at home. I've been doing more cooking at home. What do you recommend for somebody to say, all right, start easy. Here's the type of dish, if you've never really cooked before, if maybe your cooking is heating up a artisan frozen pizza for your wife and handing her a bottle of hot sauce, here's a recipe even a guy who drinks cookies and milk and white wine together could make.
Man, I wonder who he's talking about.
I think if at the very base of it, if you can cook pasta, you're good.
Okay, well,
because,
so I did a bit one time with a chef, and they asked me to cook scallops. And I will tell you that I ruined some scallops. He made some really beautiful ones. I made some really terrible ones.
Scallops or shallots?
Whatever it is. It was a fish product.
Scallops.
Thank you. That's why I was saying it right.
No, you said scallots.
He did say scallots.
Did I say scallots?
What the hell is scallops?
That's the Oreo cookie talking. Scallops.
It's
I made
kind of
scallops.
Like a little round sponge.
Yeah, right. It was a little bit of exactly.
Scallop.
I made the scallops, which I'm just gonna keep calling them that now. And I was told they were bad, but I was also told going in that that's a very easy thing to create. So after the segment, the chef had admitted that he can't teach me how to cook things. He said going in, I can teach anybody to cook. At the end, he said, please never come back to my kitchen.
Well, scallops are not easy. They're very easy to screw up.
Okay.
Yeah,
they're easy to cook if you know what you're doing, but they're very easy to screw. Let's get back to rewind. I said pasta, and you went to scallops.
I did.
Yeah.
I did go to scallops, which is definitely a thing now.
Jump?
I don't know.
I'm an Italian world-class chef, Craig.
Hold on. I know that he's very skilled, and I am not him. I have made pasta before. The way I make it is I put salt in the water and I boil. That's my entirety of pasta making. I'm not sure that is of your caliber.
No, but when you cook the pasta, does it come out mushy? Does it come out crunchy? Or does it come out perfect? Because all you really need to do is read the box. And the box tells you how long to cook it. Right?
I don't do that. I think that cooking is an art form, so I just express myself with my cooking. I would tell you that it's usually crunchy, but I'm an Italian, and I've been told crunchy is good sometimes.
Al dente is good. Al dente is not crunchy. Al dente is Italian for crunch.
I wish we were all in the same room so Cletus could punch Craig right in the throat right now. Just the look on your face when you went, Al dente is good.
You dumb son of a...
No, I now feel sorry for your wife, not just because of the Thor hammer.
Yep, there's a lot of things. She does all the cooking in the house.
My mom said if you can read, you can cook. Would you agree with that, Cletus? If you can read, you can cook.
I would not agree with that because Craig can read, but he chooses not to.
That's true. He chooses not to read.
No, I think sometimes the exact directions, depending on the heat amount or something, somehow it's not always right. I've followed the directions and brought out a crappy product still. Right?
And that is very possible.
Thank you.
There are people that, I can give you a recipe and you're going to try to cook it and you're not going to do it right.
Yep. That's me all the time.
That has nothing to do with reading. Right?
Okay. Well, that's true. I guess but if you could read a box, you can make the brownies. If you can read the spaghetti box, you should be able to make the pasta.
The operative word there is should. you should be able to, but most people just can't for some reason. That's why people just can't cook. And of course, I don't understand how you can't read a recipe
right
in a Betty Crocker box and come out with fluffy brownies.
Yeah.
People mess it up.
They do.
The timer, they don't set a timer, which is
look. One Pop-Tarts have directions. I just want to let everybody know that because that's a thing, and I think you can still mess that up. And two, the challenge my wife has given me recently is to make us breakfast, and every day breakfast that I make, it has to add an additional item to like make it harder. I think it was scrambled eggs by itself first. Then we added some baked beans that were fairly easy, and now we're getting into pancakes and other items. And I am screwing them up all the time. I don't know. She wants like the American breakfast. That's what Betty asked for.
Baked beans and eggs. That's British.
She does. Beans is very Mexican, my friend. Beans go with everything. Everything is beans and tortilla. Any item. You can have dessert with ice cream, and you also have beans and tortilla.
You're talking about Bush's baked beans?
No, she buys them from a local Mexican grocery store, and then she heats them, and I just reheat them.
Are they refried beans or baked beans?
They're that one. They're the first one.
The refried beans.
Yeah.
They're refried scallops.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I love the scallops. I'm a big fan.
This is like remedial kitchen etiquette.
Dude, I'm terrible at cooking. This is a thing.
Let's go back to talking about movies.
All right.
Yeah, really. Because this is at some point, this is going to come back, Craig. When we rebroadcast this, you're going to go, "Wow, I am."
No, I'm admitted. That's why I don't do any of the cooking. It's actually like a very selfish lifestyle, and it's lovely.
Is it now? See, right there, I think is the key. You seem to be choosing.
No,
to
Noonan,
not know how to do it.
I am remedial. You said it yourself. I am challenged. I try hard. My heart is in it, but I don't make it well. So Betty has to do all the cooking.
And here's a good example of passion can get you only so far.
That's true.
And that's okay. Because, Craig, I'm sure there are things around the house that you do and your wife is happy about it.
Yeah.
And one of those is probably leave.
Yep. Every so often. Or go into the basement and do a radio show with Noonan.
Right. So, you're pulling your weight.
Why, thank you.
And that's obvious in the milk and cookies and Chardonnay.
I thank you. I feel like I should get a pat on the head.
Cletus, do you remember when you first started cooking, when you were young, and you tried? Not, I was going to say like Craig, but let's be honest, nobody is like Craig when you're in the kitchen.
Thank you.
When you started and you were like, you tried and it just failed miserably, like scallops. Like, were you ever that bad off?
When I was in high school, I used to start experimenting, and I don't know if it was when I was a senior in high school or I was in college, but I came up with this apple Caesar salad, and it was my first real, what I considered creative dish, where I took apple cider and I poached chicken in apple cider, and then I reduced it to a reduction, and it would glaze the chicken, and then I would slice it over a Caesar salad. I would do a homemade Caesar dressing, and while those components were really interesting, the apples and the Caesar salad, I don't know that it worked really well, but I'll never forget being like super excited about that.
And now, did you have people over and serve that to them, or was that an experiment you did and you tried it and went, it's maybe not the thing?
I lived in a house in college with 5 other guys, and none of 4 of them were growing weed.
Okay.
And I worked in a restaurant, and I would always come home and cook, and I can't cook for one, so I would typically cook for everyone, and everyone would taste my experiments. So it was great to live with a bunch of guys who would really eat anything.
Yeah,
and give me feedback on what I was doing.
So that
was always a lot of fun.
I knew a really fancy chef in Chicago for a while who hated to cook for himself. Is that something that you find, like when you go home, when you're just preparing dinner for you, do you go very, low end because it's just you that you're making food for?
Peanut butter and jelly.
Really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yep. Yeah, it's my go-to. If it's just me, it's either just I eat this gluten-free bread. It's made out of like spelt or something. Either just toast with butter and some sea salt, or I'll do peanut butter and jelly. And I love the Smucker's Chunky. Is like the best peanut butter.
Really?
And any really good jam. But no, when I get home, it's peanut butter and jelly.
Why?
When I'm cooking with my wife, why? Because it's awesome and it's easy, and I don't have to think about it, and I can toast the bread until it's like almost burnt. Just perfect. You know, my wife and I cook a lot, and we've been doing a lot of things together. But if it's just me, either peanut butter and jelly or a sunny side up egg on a piece of toast.
Nice. Now, with your daughter, I know, like when our daughter was younger, and when I was younger, I was kind of picky. When you're raising a child in a house with a chef, is it easier for them to be broad-minded early, or is it still the same thing where it's I just want chicken fingers or a cheeseburger?
So I have twins, and my son, now he's a little more open, but growing up, it was just mac and cheese and chicken fingers, and my daughter was like, open up the gauntlet and give me whatever.
Really?
My daughter is super adventurous. She'll eat anything. I'll say pick a cuisine, and we'll go out and do a omakase, and she's done like raw scallop shooters.
Oh, scallops are
delicious. I love them raw.
Raw scallops are the bomb.
They really are.
Yeah,
nobody Google it, by the way. It's such a fancy item, you can't find scallop on Google.
That's on the Urban Dictionary.
Right.
Yeah, it's something. It's some sort of slang. So, what do you think? Now, you mentioned food trucks before, and I like food trucks. In this going forward, do you think that's going to be like? I know it's been popular for a while. Do you think that's something that's going to continue being more popular just because people can't go out? Or what do you think the next craze might be if it's not the continuation of the food truck?
I think that curbside pickup is, that's one thing we've seen a lot of is curbside pickup really becoming popular. And it's great to see certain restaurants really thriving on that. Yeah. And I'm really interested to see how this giant food truck is doing, because back when Chicago tried to do food trucks, what was it, 10 years ago? Yeah. They were ousted by the restaurants, right? The restaurants didn't want food trucks near them. And there's nowhere in Chicago that you can pull up a food truck that you're not going to be near a restaurant.
Right, exactly.
There's nowhere except on the lakefront. But now there are restaurants on the lakefront. Yeah. There's no restaurant that would have said, yeah, park your truck in front of our restaurant and take all of our lunch business. Now, it'd be interesting to see if food trucks do become a thing, because you can pull up in a neighborhood and service that neighborhood. And unlike a taco truck or a slider truck, now it could be, like the menu at Giant is coming to you. It'd be interesting to see who else adapts and adopts that level of delivery for their food, and to see how that works. At one point, Chicago said you can't cook on a food truck. Now there's seemingly no rules when it comes to food and beverage. You can walk around, you can walk into a restaurant and leave with a cocktail. You can walk around the street drinking. It's almost like New Orleans. You said you all love New Orleans.
Yeah, listen, let's not get crazy. We haven't reached that level of fun yet.
Yet is the operative word. The longer this goes, the more we're going to see about that kind of stuff. And I did like that when the bars and the restaurants were able to start selling cocktails to go. I know we got a kit from 3 Dots and a Dash that was just phenomenal. And is it the same as going to the venue and sitting there and watching the people make it and serve it in their fancy? No, but it's the quality is there because the ingredients that they use are there. So you're getting more than just a bottle of Mai Tai mix from Binny's. It's so true. It's I know Julia Mamos over at Kamiko was really spearheading that campaign, and it's nice to see that it went through, because people do want that luxury experience at home, and it's great to see bars and restaurants able to offer that. And in the same vein as you would order one of these, like Alinea to go,
Right.
people are doing these cocktail kits, and they're having, even Craig and his wife can enjoy this type of thing and really not mess it up. Right.
Yeah, it's very difficult.
Ingredients there.
Don't count me out.
I was going to say, you have to, like, I read the instructions for the Mai Tai because you had to measure
I'll just feel
things
it out.
Yeah, he just poured everything in a big tub,
All right.
start drinking it.
I love the idea of walking around drinking things, though. I wish we could do that more places. Like, honestly, like, I'm not driving if I'm walking up to your restaurant and I want to order a drink and, like, walk out. I don't know why that's bad.
Well, the problem comes in liability because if I give you a drink and you're drinking it, you turn around and get hit by a car, well, that could be my fault. Because who knows if you've had 6 drinks, 7, 8, 9 drinks,
Gotcha.
bottle of wine, couple of Oreos before you hit me.
Milk curdling on top of his cocktails.
The Oreos hit hard. What's the difference, though, in me having 6 drinks at your establishment and then leaving and walking out and getting hit by a car?
Well, there is no difference, and that becomes our responsibility, and we learn that with like the Bassett certification. Well, maybe you shouldn't serve someone.
Yeah, they're not going to give you 6 drinks.
Right.
The guy holding an empty bottle.
You've had a bottle of wine in 3 minutes. Let's move you to your milk and cookies.
Yeah. You just ordered that. You just ordered the chocolate chip cookie sundae after 6 bottles of Chateau Latour. So it's
right.
Excuse me, sir. We're going to have to remove the 2 bottles of wine from your hat and take the straw out of your mouth. I think
a wine hat is a thing we need in this world. Is that a thing?
No, a beer one is.
No, I don't care.
What? Listen, I've drank a bottle of wine at a sitting before, and I've done a lot of questionable behavior over. I've never sat somewhere in public like Craig and drank wine out of a bottle.
I'm not in public.
I like it.
I'm in my basement.
Well, we're broadcasting.
And like I said in the beginning of the show, that's okay. It's not okay to sit in a restaurant and slug a bottle of wine.
You would frown on that at one of your establishments, Cletus?
Well, it depends which one. You know what I mean? Some places are a little flexible, and it depends on the hour.
I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it at each one and see which ones I get thrown out of.
What's the next as we move into the fall? You said this was your first brown ale of the year, and this is actually my favorite time of year beer wise. But as we transition now from a lighter cocktail into a more fall and wintry cocktail, where do you start looking when it gets this time of year and you want a spirit rather than a beer or a bottle of wine with a cork in it?
I mean, it would always be whiskey. It'll be rye. It'll be bourbon. I do enjoy cigars, so depending on what I'm smoking will depend on what I'm drinking. I've been getting a little more into the peatier scotches lately, but most of the time it's more of the malt forward, woody kind of. Bourbon, rye, I'm really good.
What's your bourbon of choice? It's probably something much fancier than I drink.
My everyday bourbon is Buffalo Trace.
Oh, I like that.
I love, I have Willet, I have Jefferson's, I have Elijah Craig, I have the Colonel Taylor. I happen to have half of the boxes I moved into this house said booze on them.
Nice.
So we have, we're going to have a lot of people over.
If you're celebrating something, what do you drink?
Well, that's a great question because number one, it depends what I'm celebrating. It depends on where I am. And, lately, I really haven't been drinking a lot lately. So one drink is celebratory for me. When we bought when we moved into the house, we bought a bottle of bubbly. It was a bottle of Charles Heidesick, which was amazing. It was a Blanc de Blanc from 95. And that was really nice. Like I said, life's too short to drink bad booze.
Yeah.
But if I'm celebrating, I honestly my drink of choice is bourbon. So it's typically just it would be a really good bourbon on the rocks. I like Japanese whiskey. And I tend to not be picky. It depends on where I am and what they have. I really like trying new things. So I'm constantly seeking out things that I haven't had before. I like to challenge places to give me something new.
See,
Where did you get this background? What did you tell people who don't know? Where did you study, and where this all can't come from school. It's got to come from the world, right?
It does. And throughout my career, since I was in high school, I would find restaurants that I wanted to learn from, and I'd go work there. And when the older I got, and after I turned 21, and I started really wanting to get into beer and wine and spirits, I started to learn more about them and getting into the process. With City Provisions, I started brewing beers with brewers all across the country just because I love pairing food and beverage and this passion for beer. And in the late 90s, everyone was doing wine dinners. Every chef was doing a wine dinner. And I started doing beer dinners and wanting to really educate people on how to drink and eat food and beer together.
Yeah.
And how I find that the complexities and the flavor profiles in beers can far surpass wine. Just people didn't know about it. So really doing a dinner where we would scale 3, 4, 5 different styles of beer and pair them with food, that got me really excited, and it had me dive into it more. I started learning about the brewing process, and I wanted to brew beer. And at one of my farm dinners, and this was 2008, Metropolitan Brewing had just opened, and I had told Doug Hurst, I said, "Hey, I want to brew a beer with you." And he was like, "I don't know what that means."
I don't know what that means.
The following year, 2009, I said, "I want to make a beer with you." And he said, "Well, we can't really do that." But we would talk throughout the year, and we had talked about wanting, he said, "Oh, I want to do a Bock." Well, in 2010, in January, my friend Michael, who at the time was at Templeton Rye, called me and said, "Hey, I have a barrel. Do you want it? I have some pheasant that I hunted. I'm going to drop off some pheasant, and I also have a barrel." So I was like, "Give me the barrel."
Yeah.
So I had this empty rye barrel, and I called Doug and I said, "Let's do a rye Bock and put it in the barrel." He said, "Oh, that's a great idea." So I went over to Metropolitan, brought the barrel. We brewed a rye Bock. We put it in the barrel. And I had so much fun that day. I went home and I called every brewer I knew and said, "I want to brew a beer with you." And February, March, April, May, June, I lined up beers.
Nice.
And I would go brew, and we would release them at City Provisions. And brewing beer kind of became part of what I did. And I've done, I think, 40 something beers at this point with brewers all over the country.
Wow.
And it's this passion project that I just love. And now I'm continually doing these dinners where to show people there's so much more to beer than what you think, and how to pair it with food. But then came spirits, and then when I started, when I opened City Provisions, I learned a whole lot about spirits and what we wanted to do and the kind of portfolio we wanted to have. And then came Fountainhead, and Fountainhead with their 700 different whiskeys was like a field day, and learning how to do that. All the differences between the different bourbons and the mash bills, and all that stuff. I became a certified mezcalier while I was there, and learning about mezcal, and going to Jalisco and learning about tequila, and just throwing myself into those processes to learn more is just what excites me.
You are really a Renaissance man. There's no, and that's a true. I mean, I feel that completely. It's unbelievable, all the stuff that you've done. But listen, we gotta cover a lot. We have to remind people that Cooking Up a Cure is happening next Wednesday from 7 to 9. You can get your tickets at cookingupacurechicago.com. They're only $20. It's from 7 to 9. There's going to be cooking demonstrations, beer talk, spirits, great music, a lot of fun. It's like a telethon. You'll feel good. You'll do good work. So cookingupacurechicago.com is where you get those tickets. But I also want to talk because, you also have your own line of products that I have been a fan of the Bloody Mary mix for years. There it is, the Cletus Heatus, crafted by Cletus is where you can get that. Now, this had to come about because you were studying cocktails. Was it that you had tried different mixes and you had tried different things and you finally went, man, nobody's making a Bloody Mary mix better than mine. I've got to get into the Bloody Mary mix business.
Well, the way it went is at City Provisions, I was making my own Bloody Marys, and that's when North Shore Distillery started. And I was introduced to their aquavit, so I started making my Bloody Marys with just all real vegetables, and we would blend them up and serve them at brunch. And I made this aquavit Bloody Mary. And aquavit is a Scandinavian spirit that's distilled with caraway, so it's got a really nice botanical going. It's savory. You can drink it in a Bloody Mary. You can make a mule. You can just do shots with it. But
you can drink it right out of the bottle.
Fantastic.
With your scallops.
Right up. I actually made aquavit cured scallops when I was at Fountainhead.
Wow. It doesn't sound like it would go good with scallops, but that's good.
It really does. It's like you cure something with gin, you can cure it with aquavit. Yeah. But what was the Cletus Heatus Bloody Mary became the best Bloody Mary in the city by the Tribune, Chicagoist, Time Out Chicago, and people kept asking me, where can I get it? And the answer was here. And then I started working on finding a way to get it in a bottle. And it actually took 4.5 years to find someone who can do it the way it should be.
Okay.
Because since it's made with real vegetables, it was really hard to reproduce. So the Cletus Heatus Bloody Mary mix is, you could see the horseradish in there.
That's the key right there.
It's real horseradish, it's real celery, and it's real tomatoes. And a lot of the other Bloody Mary mixes, you'll need to add hot sauce and horseradish and Worcestershire sauce.
Nothing.
I was at Benny's doing a tasting one time, and my mix is $10. And the guy asked me, why should I buy your mix for $10 when I can buy the fill in the blank?
Right. Perhaps a Mr. and Mrs. brand or something like that.
Or something that sounds like yin yang, right?
Right.
For $4. And I said, well, if you look on the shelf, next to that is Tabasco, horseradish, Worcester, and all these other things that they want you to add to it. You don't need to add anything to mine, except booze.
Right.
And I've also cooked with it and done a lot of stuff. But the fact is, it's out of the bottle. It's great. I'm super proud of it. And it actually, I wound up doing a popcorn.
Popcorn.
For a while, I was working on a meat stick to go in my Bloody Mary mix. And for a while, I had two hot sauces. I had a bourbon habanero hot sauce and a bourbon serrano hot sauce. And I wanted my meat stick to have the hot sauce in it. But when we were doing the R&D, the vinegar in the hot sauce was preventing the meat from curing. So I had to come up with a powdered version of it. So I sent my hot sauce to this company to make a powder out of it. And I said, take my Bloody Mary mix, make a powder of it.
Okay.
Well, 4 years ago for my farm dinner series at the Chicago Botanic Garden, I decided to put Bloody Mary popcorn on the table. When people sit down, I like having some nosh. So people said, where do we get this popcorn? And I said, well, nowhere. It's just something I did. And then for every farm dinner that year, I did the popcorn, and people kept saying, where do I get it? So I wound up making the popcorn and getting it in these. They're in these little bags right now, which are a little tough on retail shelves. So I'm kind of working on a bigger packaging. But the popcorn has been fantastic. You can get it at Rogers Park Provisions in the city. You can get it through our website, and it's fantastic. And the biggest complaint I've heard is that when you open a bag, it just disappears.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm sure there's a number of servings on the label. It said probably, 3-4 servings in the bag?
Well,
That's fake.
I think I
It's
wrote
one serving.
Right? No, it says one serving size.
Oh, that's just
Right.
one serving? Okay,
Yeah.
perfect.
I'm very realistic.
There you go. Good.
This isn't Snackwell's. Remember Snackwell's? Snackwell's was that fat-free devil's food chocolate cookie.
Oh,
and
man.
Women were complaining that they were gaining weight, and they were gaining weight because they would eat the whole box.
Yes. Oh, these are so great. I remember going through a phase. Oh, Snackwells, these are healthy.
Right.
Oh, really?
2 boxes later.
Yeah.
3 pounds. So
craftedbycletus.com is where you can order the Bloody Mary mix, and that's you can get that at retailers too. I know some Binny's has it, but if you want to get it all at once, if you want to get the hot sauce, the popcorn, and the Bloody Mary mix, just go to the website and knock it out.
We ship
right
anywhere in the country.
there you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Anything else we need to go? Oh, I want to go back real quick and ask. So you were talking about all the beer that you brew and you've brewed over the time. Is there a style that you like and one? So what's your favorite style, I guess? And then what beer craze has come along that you just shake your head? Because for me, there's been a couple that you just shake your head and go, no, we shouldn't be.
Okay. So my favorite style changes through the season.
Okay.
My favorite style to brew is nothing and everything because I just love the process. The process of collaborating is a fantastic process, no matter what it is. Whether it's us doing a show like this, or working with a brewery to make a beer, or working another chef to do a dinner, collaboration is just the best way to work because you get more minds together and you make magic. So I just love the brewing process and the collaboration process. I have some of my favorite beers that I've done in the past, but when it comes to beers that I don't like,
Let's break bad.
I'm not a coffee beer person.
Okay.
I have a question and I have a product that I'm going to get from over here to show you because I'm curious. This is, I think, a beer trend technically because it's beer brands, but it's not actually beer as far as the drink, right?
Are you going to tell me seltzers? Uh-oh.
I'm with you with the coffee beers though, and I drink coffee all day, but there's something I don't like about it. What is this now?
Is this a seltzer?
This is Natty Light and their seltzer product, which I think is just house rules.
Does it surprise you at all, Cletus, after talking with Craig tonight, watching him drink out of Chardonnay out of a bottle and then eat cookies and milk, that he would have some Natty Ice seltzer in his basement?
I don't know that anything's going to surprise me at this point. Cindy
I can tell you,
popcorn. She can go to the website. By the way,
I can tell you this. I can tell you the story about how I tried to return this at a Walmart.
Let's get to that in a minute. But I do want to talk about this seltzer thing.
Yes.
When we were building Theater on the Lake, we had the lakefront lounge up at the before we even opened. We were doing like a really casual burger and chicken and quesadilla thing up at the lakefront. And God, what was that? 2016. My wife and I tried White Claw and loved it, and because we loved LaCroix, and then we started drinking White Claw like it was LaCroix. And I wanted to get White Claw and sell it up at the lakefront, and nobody knew what it was.
Really?
Could not sell anything. I had White Claw, and I would hand sell it to people and give it to people and say, "You got to try it," and they just wouldn't. In 2 years, that segment shot up like wildfire, and it's at the point where it has jumped the shark. So, Craig, to answer your question. Whatever is in your hand, I'm not interested.
Natty Light seltzer house rules again.
That's how I feel with some IPAs as well, that they've jumped the shark. That it's gotten, first it was, we're going to be this hoppy, then it's going to be more hoppy, and it's like, all right, stop. There's other beers than IPAs. IPAs are great to a point, but then you go, do we really need 70,000 pounds of hops in this IPA?
Well, what happened was the IPA and the brewery trend the movement
Right.
of small breweries opening skyrocketed at the same time as people getting into craft beer, and the gateway into craft beer seemed to be an IPA, right? So everyone was putting an IPA out, and 90% of them were garbage. And I will still say that they still are, because it's not just about throwing a shitload of hops into the brew kettle. It's about balance. And I just tasted 15 beers yesterday, and
look at him bragging, Craig.
No, I love how casually I just had 15 beers.
I know.
I didn't say I had. I tasted 4 beers, 4 hard kombuchas, a couple ciders, and some wine.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. I don't know what that is. A hard kombucha? That's a thing?
Let's. I will get there. Let's
finish the IPA, and then we'll get to the hard kombucha.
But I think there's some great IPA. There's some great beers out there, and unfortunately, there's a lot of mediocre to bad beer out there. Whether it's whatever it is,
right?
And it's misleading to style, right? Mm-hmm. This whole New England IPA thing pisses me off. I don't know why. Maybe because New England needed to claim something.
Yeah, right? They're terrible.
But the hazy IPA, the juicy IPA, all of these things. So that's a rabbit hole.
What about the milkshake IPA? How do you feel about a milkshake? Pass. I'm pass. And that's how I feel about sours. I don't like sours. I don't like sour really candy or anything. So the fact that everything is now a sour too, I'm like, pass. I'm good.
I like sours when they're done right. Just like anything, I like it when it's done right. And I feel like sours, a lot of people were trying to get into the sour game that really didn't understand what they were doing. Yeah. But I do appreciate that people are now IPA. They've moved through IPAs. Now they're going to get into sours. I like the way that's going.
Okay.
I like that people that 5 years ago would have never even tried anything but their Miller Lite. Well, then they tried an IPA. Too much for them. Now they're trying to sour. That's a little weird. Now at least they're going to stick with the craft beer.
Yeah.
But this whole seltzer movement, to get to you, Craig, it's become insane. So there's the seltzer.
Well, no, wait, hold on. With the hard kombucha too, isn't the goal of these types of products to be as healthy as possible while still getting hammered? And I don't understand how I can do that healthy, conscious.
It's a segment, I believe it's called Good For You.
Okay.
In the beer world, it's the Good For You segment, which are these seltzers or the low calorie Michelob Ultra, where they're trying to tell you that it's healthy.
Yes, it's better for you.
No, it's better for you, not good for you. Better for you in this category. There's nothing healthy about it. It's alcohol. Let's be real. There's nothing healthy about alcohol. Zero. Is it better is it lower in calories than a double IPA? Yes, but it's not better for you, especially when you drink 11 of them.
Right.
Because
I don't know that I agree with the expert, because this says on it that I'm letting strawberry and kiwi call the shots, and I can trust strawberry and kiwi. Those are products that are healthy.
Those are the house rules.
Right.
That's what we heard.
I'm not letting, Miller and Bud call the shots. I'm letting strawberry and kiwi.
Well, you seem to go whichever way the wind blows, quite frankly.
I do, yeah.
I'll tell you, you want healthy? This is where I go. This is my drink of choice.
Just sparkling water.
There's vodka in that.
Maybe. But this is awesome.
See, I knew it.
Not when you open it. I love these. I drink these. I was going to say I drink them like water. But the seltzer category is gone a little overboard. Mm-hmm. And I had a White Claw lately, and they've changed. It's not as good as...
Really?
Yeah.
Well, because there's no law with White Claw. They can do whatever they want.
That's very true.
They don't have to abide by any sort of recipe. They are to seltzers what Craig is to cooking. They don't read the recipe. They just put everything in there.
Do their thing.
Dude, if they made a scallop seltzer, Craig would be all
I'm going to
over
get a T-shirt. Craig makes scallops.
All right. Well, listen, it's fascinating talking to you, Cletus. It always is, because it's not like, well, Cletus is going to come on and we're going to talk just about the event and then nothing else. It's like, oh, yeah, we got to mention the event.
Yeah, we do.
We don't have to, but we're going to, because it's a great event. Cooking Up a Cure. It is happening next Wednesday, the 21st day of October, from 7 to 9 p.m. Central. You can go to cookingupacure.chicago.com. It's right there on your screen. You don't even have to remember. Go there. It's $20 for a ticket. You're going to see great cooking demonstrations. You're going to hear about wines and spirits and beer, and there are going to be musicians. And Cletus is going to do his Jerry Lewis imitation throughout the night, which means by 9 o'clock he's going to be so drunk he won't even be able to talk. And it's going to be phenomenal.
Can I come back and we just talk movies and music?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, you're welcome anytime.
Because I would love to just rap about music and movies. And I'd be happy to take up a couple hours.
And here's the thing. Next time you come back, Craig will make bacon-wrapped scallops for everybody.
I will. Forever. I'll share them with everybody.
He'll send them out to you. You can eat them under the rooster and have the paramedics on standby.
I will do that.
Because I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of trouble if we eat any of Craig's cooking. Cletus Friedman is the man. He knows about all this stuff. If you want, first of all, there's no choice. Go get your Cooking Up a Cure tickets right now, cookingupacure.chicago.com. Then, after you've said to yourself, I couldn't have any more fun than I had at Cooking Up a Cure, yes, you can. Go to Crafted by Cletus, get yourself some Bloody Mary mix, some Bloody Mary popcorn, and some of the hot sauce, and have your own little party, and then send Cletus some, inappropriate Facebook messages of you just butt naked drinking Bloody Marys.
And you know what you can also do at cookingupacure.chicago.com in the silent auction, in the online auction, I'm donating a virtual cooking class with me. So
Greg, we're looking at you.
No, he doesn't want to do it. He would quit first.
That'll just be a bottle of wine, you and me, and a straw, baby.
Amen, buddy.
That's all we need.
Cap and some Oreos, and here you go.
I'll throw a Jack's Pizza in the oven, and we'll have a night.
Cooking Up a Cure.
Wine bomb.
CookingUpACureChicago.com is where you get the tickets. The event is next Wednesday night. Cletus Friedman is the man. Cletus, it is always a pleasure. We will talk to you. Well, I'll talk to you next week, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Take
care, man.
Have a good night.
You too. That was there you go, Craig. Now,
man.
It's always fun to talk to Cletus. The guy knows something about when I say Renaissance man, he truly is.
Yeah. I feel like he can field any question.
Oh, yeah. You could have asked him about food, beverage, and he would have been able to lay it out. Then you could have asked him about movies and music, and he would have been able to answer those too. So, again, cookingupacure.chicago.com is the website for tickets. And then you can also follow Cletus on Twitter at CleetTweet, and craftedbycletus.com is to get all that stuff. So there you go. As because he was funny. He said, well, how long are we going to talk? So whatever. It's not the radio, so we could talk whatever. He goes, oh man, I think he'd talk all night. We could have kept this thing going till like midnight.
Yes. I would have been great too.
At some point I'll just drop.
Well, I still have half a bottle of wine, so I could have made it a while.
Do you? See, I'm out of beer.
Are you? You got to go with the whole bottle, then you don't run out.
Well, I try. See, here's the thing. I've been drinking a lot of wine lately.
Okay.
Because Jewel, we order. Debbie will watch online, and we'll order like cases of these more fancy wines. They mix them up, and so you get like 18 bottles for $80, and that lasts us a while. And they're all different good kinds of wine. Well, every once in a while, you need like a $3 chuck from Trader Joe's because you just want to hammer it home, and that's fine. I like $3 chuck. Well, a couple of weeks ago, I joined this thing at Jewel, their app, and they send you specials. If you enter your phone number, you get these specials. And one of them was Barefoot Wines, which is not a bad wine. A Barefoot wine. Some of them are not good, but I will say their Cabernet, their Barefoot Cabernet, I love it. Oh man, there's a lot of their wines I'm not a fan of, but their Cabernet is great.
I remember mentioning to you that I've been buying a lot of wine at Aldi, and you said that you at one point interviewed someone that said that the Winking Owl brand is actually good. Because I like it. Yeah.
Belinda Chang talked very highly, and she's the wine expert.
Winking Owl when it comes is to $2.
Wine. Huh?
Winking Owl is like $2.50 for a bottle.
See, there's a time and a place for that, and I have no problem with it. Barefoot usually sells at Jewel for $4.99 a bottle. They were running a deal if you had joined their Just For You thing, 99 cents a bottle.
Wow.
You could only buy 6.
Okay.
So, here's the thing. But they also were out of it everywhere. Yeah. So I went to I was at this one Jewel, and I hadn't signed up for the app yet, and I'm checking out, and I see people swarming to this Barefoot display like locusts.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what's the deal? They go, it's 99 cents if you're on the app. I'm like, oh, man.
I'm doing all those things.
I couldn't sign up on the app at the store because my phone is a piece of garbage and the internet wouldn't go. So I get home and I do it. Now here, to prove your point, another story where I go to multiple locations. So I go to the Jewel right by us that I usually go to. All they had is like really sweet, like the Boone's Farm of the Barefoot wine, like strawberry kiwi or watermelon rye, or just reading the labels, I was like, this is disgusting.
Not for you. So just to count as we go, you've been to 2 Jewels so far.
Right, but the first Jewel I was just at because I was shopping.
Right.
So
you found out about the deal,
went home, signed up, went to another Jewel.
Second Jewel.
Now, I think to myself, well, let me see where another Jewel is.
There we go. That's what I thought.
Sure. That one I get to, and this is the third Jewel, but really only the second on the goose chase.
No, I don't know about that, because you're at a Jewel and you could have tried to purchase, but you didn't want to elbow the other people, and you didn't want to sign up for the app.
Well, I couldn't get the app to download.
Go to the car, do it there.
Didn't work, and I had frozen foods. I couldn't.
It's still 3 Jewels so far.
All right, okay, that's fine. Listen, I don't care. Third Jewel, I get there. There's cases, again, of the really sweet stuff, but they have some other. And Debbie likes the white wine occasionally, so I'm like, oh, okay, here's a Pinot Noir, which is a red. I get a couple of those. I get a Merlot, and I get, I don't know, some white, whatever, a Pinot or whatever it is. And
I get the feeling, though, that you still have an inkling that there could be more to discover at a 4th Jewel.
You know that's true. That's absolutely true. So I get my 6 bottles there, and then I think to myself, hey, because there was a big falderall trying to get the app to work when I was checking out. It wasn't going there. It was a nightmare.
Sure.
So I'm like, a couple days later, I'm like, you know what? Didn't really go through on my app, so technically they don't know that I've already bought 6. I could probably go get 6 more. Why not?
So same Jewel, different day.
No, different Jewel now.
Okay.
Different Jewel, different day.
Did you think they were going to discover you? Do you think the guys from 2 days ago are going to be like, that's the guy?
No, the final time I was just fatigued, and I thought, and I learned something from the third Jewel, that it wasn't all out in the display area, like where they just dumped cases. Some were back where they normally have the Barefoot wine.
The hidden one.
This tells you the quality of the wine. It's the bottom shelf. And as you know, if you've ever been at a bar, the top shelf is where you're paying, $20, $30, $100 for a bottle of wine. Bottom shelf, $5.99.
Cindy points
$4.99 on sale for 99 cents.
Cindy makes a great point. She says that you paid more for the gas traveling between all the Jewels. I'm adding some words than you did for the wine itself.
That you would think that, but these Jewels are all in a very small. I live in a major metropolitan area, Craig. I'm not like you where I have to go through.
Talk to Cindy.
No, it all has to go. It's all very close together.
Gotcha.
So I go back to my original Jewel now, with a couple days later with a newfound tactic.
All right.
Little
Go to the
played
aisle.
my cards right. Bam, there's the Cabernet. Hello, Daddy. Boom, boom, boom. 4 bottles of Cabernet, a bottle of something else. Get my 6 bottles, go up. Again, the app doesn't work. So theoretically, I probably could have gone for another 6. But I thought, well, I have 12 bottles of 99-cent wine. That's probably good enough.
It's not. And by the way, you should be broadcasting from a Jewel as you buy your other 6 bottles.
Oh my God! Well, that deal is long gone. That deal.
All right.
That's never. If they're smart, that's not coming back.
Yeah. No, I love it. A hallmark of the Brian Noonan Show or the Brian Noonan story is to go to multiple locations of the same store within one story.
That's true.
Is it?
I will.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is just a real quick one. I didn't have to go to 2 stores, but I almost did because I did most of the shopping online for the elusive plastic filing cabinet.
They're elusive?
Dude, don't get me started on how elusive they are.
I want you exactly started.
All right, we have an old one. Now, I've told you we've been doing all this work at my mom's house. Part of the deal was going through a bunch of papers with her. Well, now we've done that, but she needs to file them.
Okay.
So she had one of these really old, heavy metal, rusted out filing cabinets.
Mm-hmm.
And we were like, well, we'll get you a lightweight one with, that you can actually use. Yeah. You can move it around. It'll be nice. Because we thought, well, we've got one. It should be easy to get. No, they've stopped. Sterilite is the brand. They make those plastic tubs and the drawers and all that stuff. You got them all over. Well, they don't have them. They've stopped selling them pretty much everywhere. Online, they don't have them. So we were looking. And finally, Debbie tells me, I found one at a Walmart in Hammond, Indiana. Which, to Debbie's credit, that's not too far from my mom's house. So
there's a casino there.
There is a casino there. We used to live in Griffith, Indiana, so I'm familiar with the Hammond Walmart. Yeah. It's not going to be out of my comfort zone to swing down there. But Debbie makes the mistake of it says on the website they have one in stock. So she orders it and puts the card and they say, okay, you can pick it up tomorrow. We'll email you when it's ready. And I'm like, it's not going to be ready. The one in stock, not going to work. Lo and behold, it's not there. So I saved myself a trip to Hammond. But then, because I can't be stopped, because really, if that kind of project I'll sink my teeth into, whereas anything to further my career or better my life, no, that's too scary. I'm not going to worry about that. But I'll spend hours scouring the internet for a plastic filing cabinet.
Are you being serious? Like some silly things that you feel like you can't accomplish for whatever reason, you need to find the solution? Is that a real trait of yours?
Yeah, that little thing that really doesn't mean anything. Because if we didn't find my mom a filing cabinet, she wouldn't have cared. She would have. She actually, if we had, because we were like, well, look, all these other filing cabinets are like $70, $80. Mm-hmm. My mom would have been happy to pay that.
My wife to this day will tell anyone that she knew that I cared about her a lot. The day that she wanted me to figure out how a universal remote would pair with a Comcast product, it took me hours, Noonan. I was trying so many different things and I wouldn't give up. She's like, I don't want to watch the show anymore. This is hours ago. I'm like, no, this remote's going to work for you, honey.
Yeah, it's going to. Oh no, yeah. So now I'm back on the internet and I'm looking at. I will say in this filing cabinet saga, I had gone. We went to 1, 2, 3.
Here we go.
3 Targets and 2 Home Depots.
Here we go.
All right. So those
Brian
were
Noonan bingo.
That's right. So that now I'm not running around anymore because it's futile. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden, up pops. I go on the Walmart website and for whatever reason, it didn't come up as my zip code. It came up as a zip code way out in Carpentersville, which is like a 50-minute drive from here.
You're up for the challenge.
On the front page, 3 in stock.
There you go.
But you can't order them. You have to pick them up in the store. And I say to Debbie, there's 3 of them there.
Yeah.
That's better odds than 1, but I would have to drive out.
You would.
She doesn't want me around anymore because it's been 7 months that we've been cooped up. She's like, well, it's a nice day for a drive. Why don't you go? So I immediately then look up any breweries between here and Carpentersville.
There you go.
I don't find any. But I drive out to Carpentersville. Now, 50-minute drive right down the street from Santa's Village, which was a nice memory for me because my aunt used to take my brothers and I there every summer to Santa's Village.
All right.
So I'm like, oh, this is very nice, Santa's Village. And I get to the Walmart, and I'm thinking, they're not going to have this file cabinet.
You think all three are gone?
I'm betting all three are gone because why wouldn't they be? Why wouldn't all three be gone? And I've just driven 50 minutes for nothing, for something that my mom doesn't really care about. That she would have been happy if we had said, "Hey, Ma, we found you this filing cabinet. It was $50. Do you want us to get it?" Yep.
Or we just like took a box and we're putting all your products or all your files in the box now. That is fine.
Nah, that she wouldn't have liked. She probably would have said, "I'll just use the old rusty one." I go,
Gotcha.
No, you're not. So I go in and I know it's a harbinger of doom because at a Walmart's now you can only enter in one set of doors. It's usually down by the grocery side. Mm-hmm. So I'm there. I'm like, oh, I get my Special K vanilla almond at Walmart because they have the family size box for $3.86. It's an unbelievable deal. I eat Special K every morning. In a false attempt to be healthy.
Yeah.
Well, they don't have my Special K. So this is foreshadowing that it's just going to be a nightmare. I get to the aisle where all the plastic tubs are. Nothing.
Oh,
man.
Maybe they're in the back.
Well, I'm crestfallen, Craig, as you can imagine. And I start to walk to the end of the aisle, to the main aisle. And for some reason, I don't know what, the hand of God turned my head slightly to the right. And I see the office supply aisle.
All right.
And I'm like, oh, there's folders and stuff there. Maybe they're there. And I look, there's a metal filing cabinet. So this has got to be the row. I turned down.
Please tell me you finally find a plastic one with Special K stuffed in there for some reason.
Oh God, that would have been a great end of the story.
That'd have been my favorite Noonan story ever.
Well, I turned the corner and it's like heavens opened, the sun shone down. There were two plastic filing cabinets that had been there so long. I wish I was exaggerating when I tell you there was a 1/4 inch of dust on both of them. I let out an audible shriek and I scurried down the aisle because what if somebody turned from the other side of the aisle and grabbed them first? That wasn't happening.
Right.
So I grabbed one and I put it in the cart. And then I think I should probably get both of them.
You should.
I drove out here.
Right. It's like toilet paper in 2020.
Exactly. Either my mom might need it or we might need it.
Right.
Or worst case scenario, I take it back to Walmart.
Or you sell it on the black market because apparently they're in demand.
They are in a lot of demand. I could triple my money. So even without Debbie's okay, I buy both of them.
All right.
They're nothing. 20.
Still
bucks.
bold. I'm a married man. I know what you did.
Well, I know, but see, if it was a final purchase, I would have panicked. But I didn't because I have the receipt. So if either we or my mom don't need it, I can take it right back. Or like you said, I could sell it. So that was another saga, another odyssey, but it was fruitful.
Now, I want you consciously now, as you realize the stories that are going to make the radio show or the internet show, to count the amount of times you go to a very similar store, if not the exact same store in a different location.
Searching for some product that I really don't need.
If you want to find Brian Noonan out in the wild, if you want to see a Brian Noonan in the wild, go to multiple locations of Jewel on like a Tuesday. He's going to be at one of them.
Right. Well, you're right. But normally, like if I'm just going regular old grocery shopping, I go to one store and that's it. Or I'll go, okay, I got to go to Sam's because there's certain things I can get at Sam's that I can't get at the regular grocery store. So I'll go to Sam's and then I'll go to Jewel and then I'll be done. But I won't go from like if I stop at a Jewel, I'm not going to just run to another Jewel just for regular stuff. So I know like there's only one Jewel in my area that carries Boar's Head meats in the deli.
Oh, all right.
And I know that every couple of weeks it goes on sale. So I will go to that Jewel when I need, because I'm going to treat myself to some boar's head rather than some butterball for my turkey.
Now, you mentioned Sam's. Your kid is out of the house. It's just you and the missus. You still have a Sam's membership. You still purchase there?
I still have a Sam's and a Costco membership.
See, I've had multiple debates, I'd call them, friendly debates with the missus, my wife, about whether or not we need a membership like that. I contend we do. I contend there are products that I could find that would have value for us, even though it's just the two of us. She says, no, that's more of like a family style store when you have multiple children.
I can't believe I'm going to say this.
She's wrong.
Agree with you wholeheartedly.
Yes. Let me sip my bottle of wine.
Take a swig off that wine and let's talk business.
That's a t-shirt for my show.
Yeah. I love there are things that I get it. And it's funny. We got a Costco membership when we moved to California because there weren't Sam's clubs around. Mm-hmm. So it was all Costco. And then when we moved back to Illinois, there was both. And so I forget why we got a Sam's membership. There was something. Well, I do use it for gas.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Costco now has gas too.
Okay.
And so I try to get my gas at those places.
Sure.
If you're a bottled water drinker, you know, anything you can get stuff like the grapes at Sam's and Costco are always superior to the grapes that we get at the grocery store. Always. Really? Yeah.
Always. That's going to draw Betty in. If I can say more things like that.
Watermelon. I get all my watermelons at during the summer season at Sam's, not Costco. The ones I got, not good.
I think they also have like electronic deals every so often. You could get like gifts for people.
You can get all kinds of things. I may or may not have in the past bought producers gift cards there because you can get two $50 gift certificates for like $75 or $80 rather than $100. Well, now, they still work at the place as $100, but they're not. They don't cost me $100.
Would you ever go the road of buying two and one is for you?
I mean, you could, depending on what you're giving, to people.
Because I might do that sometimes.
They and I've bought some of their gift tins of cookies or candies at the holidays.
You've never given anybody popcorn, have you?
No.
Okay. Well,
only if they requested it.
Okay.
I think Molly requested it once.
Okay.
And so we sent her one of those tins when she was living somewhere else.
And she regretted it.
No, she loves it.
Okay.
I don't know why I despise it.
I do too. You despise it?
Yeah.
I don't know. I very much dislike. I just got very upset there for a second.
Mark wants you to take a big hit off that wine before you tell your story.
No problem, Mark. No, there's no story. It's just I don't like the idea that that's a gift. I don't like the idea that multiple cold versions of popcorn in a tin can be given to me to celebrate a holiday. I don't understand that as a gift. You know, that's akin to almost any other crap version of a gift that exists in the world.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it as a gift. Take your big swig. Cindy makes a good point. You can buy dozens of unbaked cookies for cheap and then call yourself a baker. They also they also have things that you could make, like tubs of barbecue beef, and then you could be a cook.
Yeah.
Their breads and stuff are real. Some of the stuff we can't buy just because, when you buy bagels there, it's 2 dozen. Well, we're not eating 2 dozen bagels.
See, but then that's backing up Betty now.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to buy that.
Okay.
But there is stuff that you can get that, I'm
like
sorry,
the way
you do save on paper product. You save on toilet paper. You save on paper towel, stuff like that. There's things if you like I like sometimes for breakfast these Jimmy Dean Delights. They're turkey sausage and egg white. They're on the Weight Watchers plan. They're only like 5 points. Well, if you buy them at the store, even if you get them at Walmart, it's expensive for a 4-pack. I can get a box of 15 at Sam's for $11-$12.
Yeah.
So if you have room in the freezer, it works.
Right. Yeah. The frozen food. I love the fact that you told me what I can and can't buy there, what I do and don't need to buy. Maybe if I get the membership, I just call Noonan while I'm there, and I'm like, I'm standing in front of this.
Never buy pop there.
Okay.
Never. You can always get pop cheaper at the grocery store.
Got it. I don't know what that is, by the way. I think it's called soda.
Not here. So yeah, you never buy the pop there.
All right.
Booze, you get good prices on booze.
Yeah.
You get big
I know.
handles. Man,
Yes.
just think of what you could be swigging out of next week.
I can't wait.
You get a handle of vodka, you just go crazy. Yeah, so we've
Oh,
got
wow.
both of those. But how do we get on that? Oh, me going to many stores.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, we went off the rails a little bit. Cindy says that tin popcorn is stale. That's one of the reasons I dislike it
it's
a lot.
awful.
Yeah.
You know what else you can get, Craig,
Hmm.
at Sam's and Costco? They both have really, really nice flowers, inexpensive, that last for a long time.
Ooh.
I usually come home from Sam's or Costco with a nice thing of flowers for no
Ooh.
reason.
Oh, I see
No
what you're doing here.
reason.
Okay.
Just, I mean, I like having flowers around too, but it's like, hey, I brought you some flowers. Oh, and you can, they have crazy big bouquets, but you can get some nice flowers maybe for $8. And
I don't care about I can't pretend.
I know you don't.
You want
care
me to
about
pretend?
flowers.
I want to pretend. I've bought flowers a bunch of times, and I provide them to the missus. She loves them. She seems so happy about them. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not getting excited about that, Noonan.
You don't have to.
Oh, okay.
She will.
You claim that you were, though. You claimed you
I'm
liked them.
excited that I'm getting a nice bunch of flowers, usually enough to break into 2 vases or vases. They're going to last for a while. I like seeing flowers around, but she's happy.
I know. Yes.
She's happy.
Right.
So
I know that it's valuable. I just can't fake it as well as I should. That like it's meaningful to both of us.
well, it doesn't have to be meaningful to you.
I know.
It doesn't have to.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, I was shopping. I thought of you. I saw these. I thought of you. That's the excitement. That's your level.
I've mentioned before that Betty goes to Mexico every so often. She's from Mexico. She goes like once a year. Whenever she goes, she's aware that everything that's, a plant will die in the time before. Because I'm very bad at it, Noonan.
All right.
I don't know.
Sad.
No, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm not murdering them. No.
I think you and your scallops. You're so busy doing scallops.
I think I said scallops, if we could go back and check the record.
You said scallop.
No, I think you guys heard it wrong. I'm going to check this after.
All right, I'll download the audio. I'll send it to you. You can edit it up. You can do whatever weird magic you do to it.
I'm going to cry.
Don't cry. Next week, we're going to have to change the night.
Oh.
So we will talk about this off air and find out what night is better for you, Tuesday or Thursday, because Wednesday, of course, I will be at Cooking Up a Cure. Not at there. I'll be here doing Cooking Up a Cure, unless we're going to have to play this by ear because, I see you're doing the jazz hands for Mark.
Yes. I'm a monkey.
I'm doing just a short segment, like a 10-minute thing. So if it's any time in the first hour or early, we'll just keep it on this night. So be watching on Facebook. We will update you on the day and time of next week's Quarantine Cast. Somebody asked if Cody was coming by tonight. Here's Cody. Here's the update from Cody. Last week he told me, "Hey man, it's October. I'm missing you guys. I'm thinking of coming back in the next couple weeks. But the baby, I guess, is wide awake at night, and so Cody is spending time with his son during these hours. But he is anticipating coming back. So then it'll be a 3-headed monster, which will be even more fun. So then it won't be special co-host. Then you'll just be a regular co-host.
We'll see. Yeah.
Then it's just the 3 of us. There's no,
I don't want it to turn into a presidential debate though. So I might have to,
Well, we'll figure. We'll work out. I think we've been doing pretty good about not talking over.
I just yell as I drink wine though.
I know you're getting angry. Wine makes me just completely. That's the one alcohol that puts me to sleep immediately.
Really?
Yeah. Like last night during dinner, I think I had a glass and a half, and I took or maybe 2 bottles of glasses, and I went over to watch a movie because Debbie was working at the table, and I slept through the first half hour of the movie. And I woke up and I was like, "Oh, what happened?" I said, "I better rewind. I don't know where this movie is."
Are you familiar with the game Never Have I Ever?
Yes, but not. I don't know if I've ever played it, and I'm not completely sure of how it goes.
We're not playing it much tonight, except for the fact that I would definitely get a point from you and most people in whatever room we're in by saying, never have I ever fallen asleep to a movie. Never. I don't get that. I actually don't understand. It's a movie. It's a story that's being told in the most dramatic way possible because it's got all the fancy things. I can't fall asleep in that. I've fallen asleep to a baseball game, a TV show, never a movie.
Wow. I can fall asleep during anything. It's yes. I can fall
Stampede?
asleep. If I'm just sitting in my chair and it's happening outside or on TV, yeah. Probably not if they ran through my house. That'd keep me awake. But no, I can I sleep through movies. I sleep through I've fallen asleep at the theater in movies.
What?
Which is not good because I start to snore and then Debbie elbows me or Molly gets mad at me. It started when I used to have to take Molly to a lot of those kids' movies.
Oh.
And I'd be bored out of my skull. So I just doze off. Now it's because life has beaten me down, Craig, and I'm just exhausted. You know, I just
2020 has been a thing.
2020, 2018,
oh,
2006.
If I were in a movie theater today, I probably would fall asleep, but I'd probably be afraid that I was there as well.
Yeah, there's no chance. Well, we didn't get to finish the finish the election story, but that's all right because it's time to go because we like to keep I was going to say we like to keep it succinct, but I forgot we started a few minutes late. So now we're right at about our
2-hour mark.
Yeah. So next week we will be here. Craig will be here. I will be here. Will Cody be here? We don't know. But quite frankly, who's Cody? No, that's not true.
He's great.
He is great. But Cindy says, I hope Craig stays. We do too. So that will be good. And we're also working on a way to have the audio put somewhere else so that if you don't have the ability to sit by the computer and watch us, which why wouldn't you want to watch us? Yeah. There's nothing that will ever beat Craig taking big swigs out of a bottle of Chardonnay, chased with dunking Oreos in milk.
Yeah.
We need to move. You got to move your Thor hammer though, so we can see what it is.
Reflection? Okay.
Yeah, just so by night, have a nice display. Have it where people can see what it is rather than just what is that glowing orb behind him that's burning out my retinas.
Stuck on the light, by the way. I can't even get it down right now.
Well, you got a week to get that figured.
All right.
You got time after you sober up or pass out or whatever you're going to do.
A little bit of both.
I don't blame you. You've had a day.
I have.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments. Thanks for putting up with us. Thanks to Cletus Friedman. Don't forget, we will once again plug the event that I will be part of next week. CookingUpACureChicago.com is where you can get your tickets. I will be doing a beer segment with the guy from Stone Brewing, so this will be good. I'll have to go out. That means, Craig, I have to go out and buy some Stone Brewing beer. Ooh. How sad for me that I have to go purchase some beer.
Over under 7 joules.
No, this is straight run to Binny's.
Okay.
There's no messing around because I have found that most grocery stores do not have a big enough selection of liquor. They have a few. Some have some nicer than others, but I'll go straight to Binny's for that. Also, we'll cross our fingers that I am alive by next Wednesday because I am going to be alone from Friday. Starting Friday, I am going to be alone for a week with just the dogs and a heart full of bad intent. So if I'm here next week,
we'll see.
Chalk it up as a minor miracle.
Okay.
And we'll go from there. Anything you want to add as we...
I'm going to say you're going to go to at least 2 Binny's Beverage Depots. It's not going to be just one. You're going to hit a second one. For some reason, there's going to be something missing.
If you were a betting man, I wouldn't throw your money on that bet.
All right, no? Just a one and done kind of guy. Okay.
Yeah, because I'll know the brewery I'm looking for. They'll have something. And I'll go, that's what I want to do.
All right, gotcha. Well, fine. No, I got nothing else to say. It's been a day for me. If I had a little bit too much fun, I apologize to the audience.
Thoughts and prayers? Can we throw those at you?
Sure. Next week, I won't have a whole bottle with me.
Well, that's a shame.
Or, okay, I'll have 2.
All right, I have 2. All right, we will talk to everybody next week. Thank you so much once again for watching. Don't forget, CookingUpACureChicago.com. And that's that. We got to go. Good night, everybody.